Hi guys, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to work on an independence exercise that will open up for our next course on independence that will come in the future. And basically we will be playing 3 and 5 strokes with pattern with our bass drums, and we'll play the alphabet on top of this. The bass drum patterns will be played in a triplet feel, so I will now demonstrate what I mean so that it becomes easier to understand, and then we'll break it down and start to work on how to build this exercise. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, my right foot starts with my right hand on 1, and instead my left foot started with my left hand on 3 of the 16 strokes that I was playing with my hands. So in this way we will build a cycle that will move around and won't be regular on what we're playing on top of it, especially when we'll start adding all the accents. The cycles will become longer and longer, and so we'll have to get used to listening, hearing, and controlling this type of bass drum patterns. But this is a very cool exercise because it opens up a lot of solutions that you can use either for grooves or fills or anything that you can create using this type of pattern, which is very cool. I'm using a little snare mounted on my left because it gives me a different sound, and that helps me on playing correctly the cycles and making sure that everything is on point. I suggest you to do the same thing, or to mount something else that has a different sound, or if you're using triggers, you can give different sounds to the bass drum triggers so that you have this in your ears, and it both helps you out to make sure you're playing the right thing in the right way, and makes it a little bit more challenging because you have more sounds to control, and it will help you to make to work on this pattern. Okay, the first thing that we want to make sure doing these exercises is that we are able to execute the bass drum pattern. So there are, as we always say, there are 2 ways of controlling this. When we play it very slow, we can use only our leg motions, so in this way. And there is no big issues in doing this. But when we start to speed this up, we will have to have our ankles doing part of the job. So involving the ankles in the 3 strokes pattern, we will have to do the way I execute it is I play a slide technique. I use the slide technique to play the double stroke when on the foot that has to do the 2 strokes, and instead the other foot only goes with a leg motion, so in this way. Kind of the same thing for the 5 strokes. Whenever I speed this up, I use the heel up so that it becomes more of a heel up motion for both feet, so something like this. I still have a little bit of motion going forth with the foot that it's leading, but that's also to give me a better control of whatever of the foot that's actually leading, so it kind of helps me out with the motions. It's not necessary, it's just something that for me works, so you can also try it and figure out if it's something that helps you too. Once we figure out how to play and execute this, and by the way, you can work on this, these are going to be 2 patterns that we're going to work a lot on, so it's good that you break this down, even work them on a pad, and just make sure that you can really execute them, because if not, it's just gonna make it impossible when we're going to add other stuff with our hands on top of this. So it's good that you guys have really master these patterns out, and then we will also work on 7 and 9 and all the others, but that's just going to be like a 5 with more strokes, so technically it won't be a big issue. But anyway, once we figure this out, we can start putting our hands on top of it and work, start to working with the accents. So we will start first of all to just put single 16 strokes with the snare, and then start playing the 3 strokes pattern on top of this and see how this sounds. Another very important thing is balance. We need a very good balance in executing and doing this type of exercise, because one thing that happens when we change the foot that we lead with, we tend to lean on one foot or the other, or at least this is something that used to happen to me. I used to go do all this motion, and instead we have to make sure that we are completely seated on our stool and we're just dealing with the weight of the legs, so that our ankles are completely free to just move just like our wrist would be. Okay, so once we get to this point, we can start adding the accents with our alphabet, and we will start slow so that we control and we execute this exercise with our bigger muscles, so leg motion and arm motion only. And then once we learn to control and hear this, we can start speeding it up, and I will then execute it also a little bit faster so that you guys have an idea of how it would sound. Then we speed it up. Then the same thing we do with the 5 strokes pattern, starting of course one time with the right foot, one time with the left foot. Then we speed this one up too. Doing this exercise, what happens is that we learn to work with the pattern that plays 3 on 4 with accent that goes from every 16 notes position, then couples, then triplets or 3 on 4, then 5, 6, and 7. So in this way, we kind of like we learn to hear, for example, playing a 3 on 4 with our bass drums and playing a 5 on top of this. And what happens is that the cycles, when they get so large, all the cycles are made of 3. Like I have to repeat 3 times the accent to go back on having the 1 of the foot with the 1 of the hand. But for example, when I play the 5 with my hands, what happens is that I have to repeat 6 times the 5 strokes, because it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I'm gonna end up starting again 1, 2 with my left hand. And so to close the cycle and go back on 1, I will have to play it 6 times. Same thing with the 7. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so in this way, we have to count it in this way. To help you out, there is going to be the workout sheet, the PDF, and the whole exercise programmed in the Polynome app, so that you guys can, check it out, break down every layer. So there's going to be the layer of the foot, the layer of the hands, the accents. You can slow it down, speed it up, read it on the app. So that should make the exercise way easier, and the PDF too. So check this lesson out on the website. If you want to go more in depth on doing this, you find all these features. Start slowly, controlling everything with your bigger muscles, so that you don't have the technical issues of the ankle, and you start hearing it and learning it. Remember to keep the balance in the right position. Remember to play the accent, okay, louder than the ghost notes, and the ghost notes even, and have a very clean sound. The ghost notes, you have to learn where all these pattern, all the 3 strokes start and end, because if I know exactly where the 1 starts based on the accent that I'm playing, then I will just memorize that, and I know it's going to be ta-du-ti, 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 ta. This is what I have in mind when I play the first accent. Okay, so it's going to be tu-tu-tu-ti, tu-tu-ti, 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 tu, because I have the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in my mind, playing takata, takata, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the floor tom on 1 on top, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Doing this, I know exactly where the pedal and when my bass drum strokes happen. So it's going to be 1 on with the accent, and then ghost notes, accent, ghost notes, and I have to be as clean as possible in playing this, because if not, it's just going to be a mess. Then you can, this is as usual the bass exercise. Then you can put this, moving around the accent on the set, changing the strokes with your feet, so you can play right, left, right, left, right, left, or right, left, left, how you want. You can, come up with all the ideas that you guys have in mind, and be creative, and take this exercise to another level. So have a good practice, and I'll see you next time.